空を貫いて地球を打った雷は我ら幼い人類に目覚めてくれと放たれたマクロスマクロス惜しくたった若者は愛する人をかばいつつ旅立つ日々を戦い開く Will love me tomorrow 闇を切り裂き飛びゆく先は遠く輝く青い星
Guys, I just want to let you know I opened the calculator app instead of Audacity to record this audio. Macross, am I right? And yes, it's Macross, not Macross. The dude in the opening, he's literally just like, Macross! Is stupid and dumb if you think otherwise. Anyways, yeah, Macross. It's been a funny little robot show I've only been watching since November now, and I have mentioned briefly in my top 5 anime videos already, so please watch that. But I promise, for all of you annoyed by it, it's gonna be the last time, I swear.
Terminator, fucking classic, I haven't played it yet.
So if you were some absolute giga big cock Chad who watched every single one of my videos, you'd know that Macross is just a normal mecha anime, but they discover that the power of music surpasses any robot, and so they sing to the aliens to teach them, you know, you gotta be a man of culture, like the funny Reddit memes. And while the mecha fights certainly are cool, I'm not one of those nerds who are like, ah yes, the T418, the real heart of Macross. I just like the music, bruh. And listen, I know I should have probably gotten tired of it by now, but I still get a dopamine rush. I have watched them fight aliens to pop music like 70 times by now, and I'm still like, yo! And so I've taken the time to watch every single series, and I am going to rank them, because that is the cool thing to do on YouTube. Before we start, I just want to clarify one major thing. If a certain series, like let's say Macross Frontier, has both a TV show and movie adaptations, I'm just gonna lump them together because not only is that gonna save time, but they mostly have like the same characters, plot, and music. So I'm not gonna like talk about the same exact thing twice, that'd be stupid. And so yeah, well, Do You Remember Love is my favorite entry in the series. I'm still gonna have to take into account Hikaru riding his bike to the moon. So yeah, have fun. It disappoints me to say this, but this is sadly the only Macross entry that I didn't actively enjoy in some way, shape, or form. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't do anything inherently terrible. It's no Kiss Sis, but I don't know, dude. It's just, there's nothing here. Macross has always been a series that's built upon 3 basic fundamentals: robot action, complex romances, and catchy, heartfelt music. But Delta, it doesn't really nail any one of those things. Once again, I'm gonna reiterate, the show isn't terrible, it's just probably the least interesting thing to come from this franchise. Are you someone who enjoys the fight scenes? Well, the CGI is not only bland, but it actually looks worse than some of the previous series. Are you looking for a deep, interesting romance? Well, considering how underdeveloped each of the characters are, there's really nothing here. And you want catchy music? Honestly, there's a couple of bangers here and there, but overall, they didn't even keep Yoko Kanno, so what's the point? When I was watching this show, I was kinda just questioning all my life choices. I just kept thinking to myself, did I burn myself out on Macross? I mean, that didn't make much sense considering I was literally enjoying Frontier the day before, but maybe this right here was my breaking point. Well, to test this, right after finishing Delta, I went back and rewatched Do You Remember Love, and I still liked it, like, a lot. So no, I'm not burnt out on Macross. Macross Delta simply doesn't give me anything to work with here. Listen, I wanted to enjoy it. I loved the funny September video as much as everyone else. But dude, these titty physics are really taking me out of the experience. Listen, if it seems like I have nothing to say about the actual plot itself, it's because I really don't. It's literally just your textbook generic Macross plot, and they do nothing to spice it up. Ooh, we gotta fight the aliens, but these aliens are like wind elves, but we can beat them by singing. And now there's a love triangle, but someone gets rejected. It's just basic Macross, but there's a bit more fan service there, therefore it's worse. I hate titties. I have to reiterate though, once again, this isn't an offensively bad show. I'd say it's pretty average. But when I've been watching like 30 years of content by now, you gotta do something to hold my interest, and trust me, titties and girl groups are not enough to do that for me. If you want to watch Macross with a bit more of that 2016 flair, then go ahead, this is the one for you, but it's not my vibe, man.
Number 6.
I'm gonna be honest, this one's just kinda weird. Like, nobody ever talks about it, and it's probably because it's so drastically different from what the series is about. As the title implies, Macross Zero is a prequel to the original series, and that's already a pretty weird concept to begin with. All the history in the series takes place directly in the original series. There was never anything that needed to be explored before then. So they were already left in a pretty weird spot. With no aliens or magic singing powers, we're just left with a generic war story, but with mechs. I mean, it's not bad, it's just I feel like I'm watching something that's not Macross. And they also have some weird implications that humans were aware of the power of song, and that literally contradicts the entire plot of the original series, which, should I mention, is the #1 thing you shouldn't do if you're making a prequel to a series. I know I seem kinda harsh, but I do have to say, as a standalone experience, it's pretty decent. Granted, it's nothing mind-blowing, and it's certainly not what I want from the Macross franchise. But I think the fight scenes were cool, and the CG animation has aged really well for being a 2003 anime. I just appreciate them trying something unique with the series, even if it's not exactly what I wanted. But hey, it managed to hold my attention the whole way through, unlike Delta, and it was only like 4 episodes, so I don't know, who cares? I'm gonna tell you right now, the rest of this video is just me gushing about the series, because from this point forward, Macross gets fucking awesome. I know what you're thinking. This is only number 4, so you can't like it that much. No. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, that's right, bitch. I gave the 4th favorite Macross series a 9 out of 10, showing how much I love singing and robots. Out of all the Macross series, this is easily the most mature out of the bunch. Not only is it the only entry to feature a primarily adult cast, but it touches on some weirdly deep, serious topics. So basically there's these 2 dudes, Isamu and Gold, and they're just childhood buddies until they both want to bang this chick. And then they had the classic Macross scene where Gold walks in on them like making out or some shit. And instead of being like, he just beats the shit out of both of them. Like, I don't know, dude. That's a little problematic, man. Due to Gold being so traumatized by the incident, even though he was the one beating people up, he blocks it from his memories, and then when we see them reunite years later, he's kind of just like, you guys are kind of dickheads for avoiding me, and it's just a nice little interesting dynamic. Oh yeah, there's also evil Vocaloids. So yeah, instead of some cute schoolgirl, the main girl, Myung, is like attached to some Vocaloid that syncs with her emotions, and because, you know, the dude who beat the shit out of her came back, Myung is kind of a little mentally unstable, and this makes Sharon Apple kind of go a little haywire too, and this leads to like one of the most badass finales in Macross history. I don't think you realize how refreshing it is to have the idol as the villain of the series. Usually music is like the cop-out solution to everything in the series, but this time it was the problem itself. And can I just say, everything about this series is just fucking awesome, dude. The characters are well written, the fights are well done, and holy shit, the music, dude. The fucking music. Yoko Kanno fucking went crazy with this. Literally, the only reason I haven't placed this at number 1 is just simply because I like the other ones more. That's it. This is like a perfect, banger, goated masterpiece. And if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it to anyone, because it's literally just 4 episodes. What do you have to lose? Fucking loser, dweeb-ass dork. I'm gonna be honest, I did not expect this one to be so high. When I first started it, I honestly wasn't vibing with it. I had very similar feelings that I have to Delta. It just felt way too close to the original series and wasn't doing anything to necessarily stand out. But after a couple episodes, it just came together. The characters got more complex arcs, the animation kept improving, and the music was just... they got Yoko Kanno for the whole thing again. You can't go wrong here. Another thing I'd like to mention is just how weirdly depressing this series gets. Like, don't get me wrong, Macross has had its fair share of dark, serious moments, but dude, this just got, like, fucked up by the end. Like, the main idol was given the death penalty without trial. And can I just say, one of the most fucked up moments for me personally was when they took the song, Do You Remember Love, the song that got me into the franchise, and they were like, yeah, let's just like take it and have the villains use it, and then we're gonna like make it a super sad version. And I was just fucking destroyed by the end. However, despite me enjoying my time with the TV series, I'll admit I was kinda underwhelmed. Don't get me wrong, the final battle was awesome, but this was probably the most romance-heavy entry in the series, and for them to build up this love triangle only for this bozo to be like, "You're both my wings." I was a little heated, I'm not gonna lie, but thankfully they fixed it. They gave us 2 movies that would not only rewrite the story, but give us a more conclusive ending. Macross Frontier The False Songstress and Macross Frontier The Wings of Goodbye are fucking amazing movies that you should watch right now. Similar to the Evangelion rebuilds, they seek to retell and alter the story, and then by the end they're kinda their own thing. And not only did they fix every issue with the original story I had, but every addition further helped develop the characters in my opinion. This soy boy Alto that I hated so much, he became a badass cause he like dressed up as a maid and he helped free Cheryl from getting the death penalty, and that's pretty fucking metal. And the animation, gorgeous. The additional songs, bangers. I need to reiterate once again, this was not my favorite series, but these movies, they fucking took it from like a 7 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10 easily. I love the Macross Frontier movies, and yeah, go watch them. Guys, I don't think you realize what I just did here. I made the biggest blunder I could have made on this ranking. You know that one funny Twitter meme? The one with the tangled guy with the swords around his throat? That's me right now. I'm so fucked. Not only did I put the Super Dimension Fortress Macross series in number 2, but through the process of elimination, you can deduce which one is number 1, and let's just say people aren't gonna be happy. But for now, let's just talk about the OG Super Dimension Fortress Macross. If you're some big thundercock Chad who has already seen me talk about this, you already know my opinions. I love this series. Not only has it aged really well for its time, but it set up the idea of combining mecha with idol stuff and romance, which is really creative for the time. And it's still the only series to perfectly balance all three. And while the TV show was good, it was halted by a low budget, and they were pushed for more episodes than intended, which led to the later half dragging a bit longer than it needed to, but it never got actively bad. And then, you know, Do You Remember Love? Certified Classic. It gave you Sex the Animation, it fixed all of the pacing issues, and it gave us so many banger songs, bruh. So yeah, I love this series, but I'm gonna take a moment, right, to talk about how much of a bitch Lin Min-mei is. I get it, she's the face of the franchise. She's made amazing songs, and I do love her as a character, but we can't ignore how much of a whore she was at times. Not only did she literally only ever think of herself in any given moment, but she pushed Hikaru to join the military, and then was like, you should leave the military though, I'm too afraid you'll die. Fucking whore, you told him to do that! And then there's this scene, right? Hikaru, he got back from a dangerous mission where 2 of his closest friends just fucking died. And then Minmei, what does she do? Does she console him? Does she ask him if he's okay? No! She's just like, yo, I'm kinda tired from singing practice, but nobody's over right now. Wanna come over and fuck? You fucking whore! Don't get me wrong, she comes to realize this later on and does develop into a decent human being by the end, but I don't care. I will protect the Misa and Hikaru ship until the end of time. Because not only is Misa a respectful human being who supports her boyfriend getting traumatized daily, but she has a cat. So fuck you, Minmei. Until you get a cat, get out of my sight.
Everything's gonna be alright. Oh baby, let's go through the night.
Yep. Yep, I said it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck what any of you say. I put Macross 7 in the number 1 spot. And for those of you unaware, yes, Macross 7 is probably like the most hated entry in the Western community. Because cringe Westerners! And honestly, it's for pretty valid reasons. I'm gonna say it right now, Macross 7 is far, far, far from the best entry in the franchise. The animation is like super stiff. The pacing is mad slow, and they keep replaying the same song like 20 times. But I don't give a fuck. This is a personal list, and for some godforsaken reason, this is the series that I got the most enjoyment from, and it's all because of this stupid John Lennon motherfucker. So basically, the entire plot of the series just centers around this one man. Neki Basara. You see, Basara is the lead vocalist of a band called Firebomber, which, yeah, they produce absolute fire. This series probably has my favorite soundtrack in the entire series.
Power to the dream. Power to the music. Power to the universe. Power to the mystery. Power to the world. Power to the lovers. Power to the rainbow. Power to the future.
Basically, his character, he really wants people to hear his song, including the evil alien space vampires that are trying to kill everybody. And this dude is not only a pacifist, but he straight up illegally flies in the middle of battle just to sing to the space vampires, and it pisses everyone off, and it's really funny. I love this guy. Not only is he an absolute hilarious badass doing crazy off-the-wall shit like hang gliding from the top of a hospital, catching flowers, into a mech, but he's also a weirdly compelling character. Mullane and Gamlin are the other two major characters, and they're sort of characters the audience can project themselves onto. At the start of the series, they're also confused and frustrated by him, and they see him as a simple distraction to any actual progress in the war being made. Basara himself never actually changes throughout the series. I know that may be seen as a bad thing to some, but similar to a character like Goku, he doesn't change himself, he just changes others around him. We learn more about why he is the way he is, and just why sharing these feelings through music is so important to him. It's weirdly beautiful and also hilarious because this dude will just like hijack a motorcycle and fly up a wall, so I don't know. With the show mostly being about Basara himself, I can see why people don't like it. He can be obnoxious, oblivious, and just a straight up asshole at times, but at the end of the day, all he's trying to do is stop people by fighting by having them just listen to his song. It's really fucking stupid and kinda corny, but that's kinda Macross as a whole. I kinda think no character embodies Macross more than Basara. He is Macross himself. While I love the original TV series and how it ended, the epilogue series, Macross 7 Dynamite, it's something that even people who hate Macross 7 still somewhat enjoy. Apparently it's Moby Dick, but Macross, but I've never read Moby Dick, so I don't know. And it sees Basara leaving his band, trying to spread his music further throughout the galaxy, and then he gets caught up in this situation where there's like whalers trying to kill evil space whales. But Basara is so determined that he can serenade these whales with his song, that he says fuck these whalers, and he just jumps into the battlefield, and then Gamlin comes and he's like, oh Basara, I don't hate your singing anymore, so he protects him. And then Basara, he serenades the space whales in one of the coolest sequences in the entire series. Not only is the animation in this sequence just beautiful, but Yoko Kanno just, they fucking brought her back and it fucking flames, dude. Not only is this like my favorite song in the franchise, but the whales even sing along by the end. Fucking, that's amazing! I'm sorry if this video wasn't like as exciting as Venom Evangelion. You can only go downhill from there. But I just wanted to sit down for a bit and talk about something I genuinely love. Like, it probably seems insane that I sat down and watched like 30 years of content about this music robot anime, but I don't regret any of it. Out of the 6 series I watched, there was only one I didn't really care for in any way, shape, or form. And even then, the one series I didn't care for was pretty inoffensive. In fact, 4 of them I gave a 9 or above, so I don't think I wasted my time with this series. and I'm glad I just got to talk about it for a bit. I don't know what the future has in store for the Macross series, whether it's a new movie or a new TV series or, I don't know, the Tobey Maguire live action. But whatever it has in store, I'm excited for. And I hope this encouraged some of you to at least check out one of these OVAs or movies or TV shows or whatever, because I highly think everything that I talked about, Macross Plus and above, is worth checking out. So yeah, I'm gonna sit back, get to writing my Nair review before they announce anything. Oh, for fuck's sake, Yoko Taro!
僕はもう追いかけはしない君の走る影の後